Mortal Kombat 4 released for the Nintendo 64, and that would probably be the.
I hear like 5 of her.
Get your rump out my face, man.
I hear one of her, but we are reverbing off her.
Oh.
So.
How about Bomberman?
Bomberman, yes, because people seek out those, and those were good games.
Yeah, the Bombermans are good.
There's so many games they could release, and I feel like there's probably something unreleased that they finished that they could throw in there too, like Star Fox 2. I remember Glover, but I don't think it'd be on.
That or Gex 64, you know.
Gex 64.
Oh my gosh!
Good. Enter the Gecko is my favorite Gex game. I liked it better on the PlayStation, but I love that game.
So I guess in conclusion of this, I'm probably
Matthew, just jump on board with the crew and agree with you.
I'll agree with you guys, I guess, because I guess I am wrong in a few things, and as always, when I
might
try
not
to
be
think,
able to get the rare games, but it would be a big loss if they didn't.
But I'm on this article right now, and this guy listed 20 games: 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Kirby 64, Yoshi's Story, Paper Mario, and Mario Kart 64, Mario Party, Mario Golf, Tennis, Super Smash Bros., Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, Star Fox 64, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, F-Zero X, Pilot Wing 64, Wave Race 64,
F-Zero.
and 1080 snowboarding.
See, I see several of them I missed.
How about
all about.
Instead of 10,
Puzzle League,
Snowboard Kids?
No Puzzle League. They need to put Stadium on there.
How about instead of 1080 snowboarding, Snowboard Kids?
Snowboard Kids was good. That Nintendo though. Nintendo did 1080. Did they do Snowboard Kids too? Okay, I knew because I knew like 1080. They own 1080.
Now, would you need how they had to have an expansion pack for DK64? Could they mod that?
You wouldn't need an expansion pack. It'd be emulated.
Okay.
It'd be emulation, so you wouldn't have to need any of that. And in fact, the controllers would probably have built-in rumble effect. So. Which would be nice. Now, here's another thing. The Super Nintendo Classic came with 2 controllers. You think the N64 Classic would come with 4?
I'd say at least just 2, and if you wanted 4, you have to purchase 2 more.
You think just 2? You think it just come with 2? See, because I'm thinking they could release it for $100 with 4 controllers, and people would eat that up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is stretching it, thinking that they'd release with 4.
Yeah, you're pushing it, man.
I'm a dreamer. I feel like they might have to raise the price to $100 anyway, and I'm trying to think of how they could make people okay with it.
Like $99, you know?
Well, $99.99, but it's like how would they make people okay with that price? You know, is what I'm thinking. Because I'm thinking if they were to get the rare games, they would have to raise the price. Matthew just named 20 games that are not rare, which is amazing because everyone thinks of rare when they think of the 60. Because of Perfect Dark.
Were there any games not released for the N64? Kind of like how they did with Star Fox 2?
There were a lot of games in development that got canceled. I don't know if there's how many of them might have been done. I know that Animal Crossing was done, but it was never released in America. It was only released in Japan. That's something that they could throw in there.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Be nice.
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2 was released. That would be cool. Although compared to the other versions of Resident Evil 2, it's a poor version. It's got really bad FMV. Videos.
Resident Evil.
But Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil for the Game Boy Color.
Oh, if they do a Game Boy Classic, if they could get Capcom to release the Resident Evil remake on
Donkey Kong Land.
Donkey Kong Land 1, 2. Well, they probably just released 1 because they just did like Donkey Kong Country, which I don't know why they didn't do the trilogy for the Super Nintendo. But Donkey Kong,
the first 2,
Yeah, at least 1 and 2, but they didn't do 2, which was weird.
Wouldn't that be cool if they had a SNES SNES that's like ROM hacks only.
Like one that's just nothing but ROM hacks. You can make that yourself, but
That would
you
be
can
pretty
make that
cool.
yourself. You can hack it and put a bunch of ROM hacks on it. You can put more than 21. You could put like a couple hundred. But
So, reading on a few more articles about this, a lot of people are saying
let's hear
that
what Matthew's saying.
they're going to that they're going to try to put it at a $50 pound, 50 pounds launch, which I think would be they wouldn't be making a lot of money off of that.
No.
so-
I think that's dreaming.
Because
50
the
pounds is
SNES
like 60.
Because the SNES went for 70 pounds, which was
About 80.
$80 was $80 here in America,
Yeah, that would be the
So-
same price as the NES Classic.
and the SNES both.
No, the
Yeah.
SNES. No, I'm saying if they did 50 pounds, that would be the
Oh,
same
yeah.
as the NES. The NES was 60.
Yep. And so everyone is saying, or what they're speculating is that it's going to be 100 pounds. So it'll be $110 here in the US if we translate it 100 pounds.
If we did straight translation.
Yeah, not including imports or anything like that.
Now, Nintendo might release it for 100 pounds over there and $100 here, because in Europe, I don't know if you know this, they tax the price you pay is taxed.
Yeah, I know.
Like they don't pay any tax on top of it like we do. Like that's left on the seller to pay. So when they sell something for 100 pounds, it's 100 pounds. You're not paying 110 pounds, 100, you know. Like over here, we're paying $110, $115.
Yeah, so
for that reason,
so the
right.
N64 is going to be. If I had to give it a guess range, I said it'll probably go for $100, and with tax, depending on where you live, it can go anywhere between 100 to 125 to 150. Because if you have a 10 or 11% tax where you live, you're going to be having a little bit extra tax on that, which could drive some people away for having that big price. But I don't know. Again, if it does come out, it's not like I'm not going to buy it. I have the SNES Classic. I'm looking forward for the NES Classic. And
I don't have either one, but I would buy the N64 one.
So, I would buy it.
That's why I
like
said that about the controller, because I feel like they would have to release it for $100, and I'm trying to think what's a cheap way for them to make it more appealing. If it came with 4 controllers, those are cheap to make. If it came with 4 of them, people might actually look at that and be like, oh, that's a good deal. And then you got Mario Party, you got Mario Kart, and Super Smash Brothers, all 4-player games, you know?
Yeah, I mean, on here, sadly, I haven't read anything of people thinking that they're going to come out with 4. Everyone that I've seen on here is saying it's going to come out with 2, and then Nintendo's going to create their own specific things.
Everybody said that the Super Nintendo Classic would only have 1, though, so...
That's very true.
We'll see. I'm just scared that if they release it for $100 and it comes with 2 controllers and the controllers are $10 or $20 a piece, that might not go too well.
So with that's I guess that's kind of why I've kind of been on this weird fence about it, because without the occurrence of Rare being there and having 2 controllers at $100 price point, including for us in America tax on that, I mean, again, I would still buy it because I'm a collector. I love collecting game consoles. That's what I do.
I buy it because I like the games.
You know, and it's not like I'm not going to say no to having it, because I would love to be able to play, you know, OG Mario Party and shit like that with me without having to try to find an N64 again. But unless if they release the controllers for like $10 a piece, you know, then I could be fine.
They might do that.
You know, if I had to give a good guess, it's going to be, they're not going to get any rare games on there. They're probably only going to have 2 controllers on it, and they're going to have it $100 because it has more of a graphical part in it.
They're probably going to have... Okay, now, the hardware that's inside of the Super Nintendo Classic is proven to be able to run N64 games, but it does not run
Windows.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you guys. For people who don't think that can work, I'll do a video if someone gives me one for free.
Yeah. So I don't know. The Super Nintendo Classic's got the same hardware as the NES Classic, and people have told me that runs N64 games, but I don't know. I know that they would have to probably update the flash memory. The flash would have to be updated, so that would cost more money. But as far as the hardware itself, I don't think they'd have.
If they use though like a 64 gig SSD, that's $15, and an SSD is smaller than the size of that entire chassis. They can just double-sided tape to that.
I don't even think they would do that. I think they would just get a flash chip with like a gig on it, because that would be enough.
Yeah, but I don't know.
What's in there was like they could put probably 10 or 15 games on what's in a Super Nintendo Classic, but if they're going for 20 to 30, then they would have to upgrade that flash memory.
They're gonna need at least 3 gigs. Because remember, remember, you don't want to be. 8. Well, as I'm saying, I just remember that whenever you do things like that, you don't want to go to where it can be on the maximum. You want to have wiggle room. And for people, and people don't understand that. That's a funny thing.
Because you need wiggle room for the operating system as well as the save files.
Because this is the funniest thing I talk about a lot with people who do tech things with me. So everyone's like, if Windows is only a 25 gigabyte file, then I can get a 32 gig and download all these games and movies. I'm like, no, you can't.
You know what? Too many people do that. And too many people have these 32 gigs.
Hilarious.
It runs like garbage.
And it's hilarious because they run so slow, sad. And it's just stupid. And for me, like I got 120 gigabyte SSD for $30.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think I think they would probably, I don't know, they could probably put like 8 gig for pretty cheap, or 4 gig.
Honestly, they would probably want to do 16 because the 8 gigabyte flash because 8 gigabyte flash chips are kind of being weird in a way, because like they're doing, like, for example, like if you go to Target or whatever, you can't find an 8 gig anymore. It's legit 16, 32, 64, 128, 256.
Oh, really? Because 8 is the lowest I find around here.
Now, if you count flash drives, we have 8 gigabyte flash drives. But if you're talking storage cards and stuff like that, the lowest we go is 16 gigs.
I'm talking about standard flash memory.
Yeah, I know.
Like what's chips in the Switch.
Yes, I know.
The little chips.
And remember, the less gigs that they have on there, they still have the exact same production cost.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that they would still end up having to spend more money on that.
Oh, yeah. No matter what, they're going to have to spend money for an upgrade.
I don't think they'd have to really upgrade the hardware. They might upgrade the hardware just so the games run smoother.
I mean, I would keep the standard hardware, and I would just put in like maybe a percentile more of a graphics, just like a percentile.
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
People have said it runs the games, but it does have issues. Like not every game runs well. And that's with RetroArch, and RetroArch has multiple emulators that run off.
Yeah.
Arch, okay.
No, RetroArch. I use it on the MacBook.
The one in St. Louis. Oh god.
Hopefully, if they do make a N64 Classic, they polish up a lot of the graphics too. Try to make like not an HD, but like polish it.
I think they would run it in native 720p.
That would be nice.
I think it would. I think they would just run it native 720p, just like the NES and Super Nintendo Classic. I don't think they would push it any further.
Kind of like blocky and stuff like that. The polygons.
They're running at 240p. They're running at 240p on the N64. So, and a 720p would be 4 times, I believe, resolution. So, that would be perfect. That would be enough. It would look a lot better naturally. The games are going to look blocky anyway. These are old games, but they would definitely look a lot better upscaled into 720p.
Like you and me.
Yeah, I'm all blocky.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I just switched.
I'm in 720p.
I could not stand wearing those big things anymore. They're just